Why they really want us back in the office, to avoid bankruptcy. Hello reader. What's happening? Commercial real estate has lost its value. Since the pandemic, only 50% of employees have returned to the office. The demand for office spaces has drastically dropped, and many corporations and banks now risk going bust. This is why they want us back in the office. To save themselves. Imagine you're a company. You invest $100 million in an office building financed with a loan. Your business goes as planned. Your employees do well, and life is great. Suddenly, boom, pandemic lockdown. The working from home era begins. Several years later, only half of your employees have returned to the office, since you no longer need all your office space. You look to sell parts of it. You quickly realize other companies are doing the same and that the market price of your asset has drastically decreased. So far, it's okay. They're only unrealized losses. But if you were to sell today, you would go bankrupt. Meanwhile, your bank is sitting on something worthless. No one wants a loan where the debtor is at risk of default. And if a bank run starts, they would be forced to sell at a loss, causing them to go belly up, 2008 style. So, what's the plan? Force people back to the office. Bring everyone back. Restore solvency. And draw a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, tell tales of productivity and company culture. Say whatever it takes. Just don't tell anyone we're trying to save our asses. Footnotes. Castle Systems, based on analyzing data of keycards and other metrics of physical presence, estimates that 50.4% of U.S. employees worked in the office in week 7 of 2024. 1. Disclaimer. In case it isn't clear, this is a lot of speculation. The thought came to me as I was watching Coin Bureau's interview with Arthur Hayes. https u2.be/cwk lu0d4. Accessed February 22, 2024. No one can predict the future. And none of this is financial advice. Bibliography. /1. Castle Systems website. Getting America Back to Work. Accessed February 22, 2024. https www.castle.com/safetywellness/gettingamericabacktowwork/ support my work. My mission is to free humanity from unnecessary toil and expose why we aren't free because of how we work. Buy a coffee for a fellow slave. Stay informed and subscribe to my newsletter. Let them go bankrupt. If you can do your work via laptop over Wi-Fi, you don't need to be in the office. I do not get why having people in an office gives it value. It's way worse than this. Those are the first steps of how this is about to go sideways. Remember the mortgage-backed securities from The Big Short? Where they took a bunch of mortgages and packaged them all together and sold them as a safe, diversified investment, and no one was actually looking at what was in them. And as people started defaulting, the price of them wasn't moving because no one wanted to admit what was happening. Yeah, that, again. Even if your employees aren't in the office, your business is still going as strong with them in the office or not. So the loss on your business property, it being one half empty, doesn't really matter. Your business is doing the same with them in the office or at home. Bringing them back into the office isn't going to magically boost profits and save you any money on the space. Them staying at home isn't going to cost you anything extra. It may actually save you some money on power and heating, cooling. It may look like it does cost you more having the space that's not being used. But in both situations you have X number of employees and Y amount of space. No gain and no loss. It's the same either way. I know. In the world of business, unused space is wasted money. They tailor their math to make it so. But in actuality, if you already have it, then it's really not a loss. Not until you try to unload it and no one wants it. There are a whole bunch of people, whole jobs and power depend on people being in the office. Layers of management and whole company departments, like HR, facilities, etc., are all office-centric. Then you have office support businesses, catering, cleaning, coffee shops, restaurants. Even local government depends on tax revenue generated by office real estate and people in and around offices. Going bankrupt is the least of their concerns. Bob in management is feeling down because he doesn't have people blowing smoke up his ass. Not because company's $100 million building is sitting empty. Pay me more for my car gas and time on the road and I'll see you there. Otherwise, sorry about your luck. That and to prop up other local business that depend on workers needing food. My coworkers are refusing to even buy coffee in the town where the office is since they were forced back. They also do the commute into the office during working hours now. Not propping up the businesses and cost the company labor hours. Also made them far less likely to look into issues when they are not in the office. Things that used to get resolved in 15 minutes at 7 p.m. now get to wait until the next day to even be looked at and end up costing far more in SLA fees. That might explain some, but definitely not all. My company leases their space and actually saved a ton of money on renewal. They just seem to genuinely believe people are more productive in person. I'm not saying I agree. I'm just reporting the facts. Forcing PPL back to office increases the quitting rate, which lets the hide layoffs from shareholders. Man, they always say, we deserve all this money because we took risks, but cry and cry when a risk goes against them. I'm not sure how a full building would be more cost-effective. If it was my business, I would hold the lease until it's up, then get a smaller space and keep work from home as an option. Seems like a bonus to not have the need for as much maintenance and utilities to keep a larger building open. Probably screwed if you purchased the building though. The Amazon center I worked at closed and they had to retain the lease but didn't need security of maintenance, so even with the building sitting, it's saving money. I would say most office-based businesses rent their spaces, so I'm not certain the value of the asset factors much in their reckoning. For them, it's more that they're paying for the use of the space and it's going to waste. I agree that the government is pushing for it more than any business, tbh. Make sure to mention commercial mortgage-backed securities. Those are the commercial building versions of CDOs that played a large factor in the 2008 crash. Except the CMBS market is a lot larger now than housing was in 2008. Frankly, companies should get tax breaks if they can convert the office to low-income housing and push for remote work. And find if they can have 75% remote workforce and choose not to. Companies should be forced to compensate their employees for their commute at that point too. The company I'm with got rid of their offices during the pandemic. I kind of wish they still had them though, for one reason. If I came into the city for events on the weekend, especially if I had multiple plans in one day, it was a place I could drop my backpack and then stop and change or whatever. I don't think I'd ever want to go back to work in the office though. They will just outsource the work anyway. https www.cbsnews.com/amp/pittsburgh/news/Colgate's building in downtown Pittsburgh reportedly facing foreclosure sale. You're not wrong. Yes. Everyone forced them to go bankrupt. Now what happened when a company goes bankrupt? Oops. I forgot your job. Yes. You can do the job remotely. But for who? Absolutely. But they say we are wrong. That employees are lazy. I will tell any company. All employees need a 10,000 increase in pay. Gasoline. Cost of insure. Complete new wardrobe. Price of food. Price of school lunches. Price of daycares. Need I go on? I could cares less about a bankruptcy in any company. It's the building owners who will have to make decisions. Most companies lease floor space. And can save heaps now they only have lease out half the floor space. Some office spaces are being renovated as residential accommodation as that area is still under supplied.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.